So before we get started with the video, I am going to quickly apologise if you can hear some background noises. I got my fan, I got both my windows open because, oh my god, it's so damn hot in the UK here at the minute. One step beyond. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I mean, look at that nice cold glass of Coke there. It's what you need on these hot days. Well, really, you should be drinking water, but you know me, I like a fizzy drink, so I'm having a glass of Coke. That is lovely. Okay, so hello and welcome to another video, guys. That was the weirdest intro ever. But, oh my god, those of you right now who are in the UK, how hot is it? It's unbearable almost. I had a job to do on the weekend at work. I was in London, putting these huge boards up all day. Oh my god, I was dripping buckets. But anyway, the weather here in the UK at the minute is crazy. But anyway, here we go. I'm getting off topic already. Hello and welcome back to another album review, guys. Today we're going over my first Madness album review. And I am a massive fan of Madness. They're like top 5 bands for me. I've grown up listening to them. They were the first band I ever got into. I've recently managed to get all their albums and just have been adoring them. So we're going to review their debut, their first album today. It's back here. Hang on. Here it is, One Step Beyond. We all know it. Everyone around the world knows it by now, I think. I know Madness didn't really catch on in other countries till really the 80s. They really are an 80s band, even though it's 79. But I think everyone does know this cover now. It's a pretty famous cover, so I'm sure most people have seen it. So we're going to dive into their album, their debut album, One Step Beyond today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a bit of information on the album. Then we're going to go over each track individually. And while we're going over each track individually, we're going to mark each track out of 10. Then we're going to take a look at the album artwork, my copy of the vinyl record. See my notes on the back there. And we're going to mark the album artwork out of 10 as well. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the scores I've given, divide them by the total number of scores given. So there's actually 15 tracks on this album, even though it looks like 14. So there's going to be 15 scores, plus the album artwork score, 16 scores. So we're going to divide all those scores by 16. That will give us an overall marking for the album out of 10. But we're not done there, because then what we're going to do is we're going to head over to my album ranking board, put it on there and see where it ranks compared to other albums I've reviewed here on this channel. So there's a lot to go over, 15 songs and kind of 16 topics here, so let's get started. So anyway, One Step Beyond was the debut album from Madness, released on the 19th of October 1979. Now there's not too much information out there on this album. It's technically the second bunch of studio tracks they recorded, because the first ones were released in 88, I believe, here on this album here called The Madness. And needless to say, this was not as good as this one. So this was a fantastic debut album. It really is known to be their best album. Literally, the store I used to work in, so I still go in there occasionally to buy Blu-rays and stuff like that, Tesco's. They have an old record booth stand where they have classic albums, and you find like Led Zeppelin 4, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Fleetwood Mac Rumours in there, and then they have this album by Madness in that classic albums bin. So here in the UK, this is a classic album, so this was a great debut for them. It reached number 2 in the UK and stayed in the charts for over 2 years in the top 100 here, which is fantastic. Everyone and their mum was buying this album in the UK, it seems. I'm shocked it didn't get to number 1. It was beaten to number 1 by Blondie's Eat to the Beat. Now, I do like that album, but it is no way better than this one, so I'm kind of shocked about that. And it done pretty well around the rest of the world. Got top 20, most other countries. But in the US, man, I don't know what you guys are doing. 128. I know this style of music never really caught on, but man, 128, that's not very good. Thankfully, Madness have sort of caught on in the US now, just a bit. But you guys have just missed out completely. I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm only joking. But yeah, so this is their first album. They're going by the name Madness because they had a different name when they were touring. Madness, the name was inspired by Prince Buster, very famous musician, kind of jazz. It's got a very weird vibe to him, Prince Buster, and you're going to hear his name come up a lot in this album review. And yeah, that's about it for the album here. We got 7 members to the band. It's a fantastic band. And throughout this album review, you're going to see why they're one of the most clever bands and one of the best bands going, really. So I think a lot of people underrate Madness. They look at them and go, oh, they're just that silly punk group from Britain. They are silly, they are punk, but their lyrics have great meaning and their songs are so damn fun. They're just honestly brilliant. So anyway, we're going to go into this album now. We're going to start going over the songs. But first, quick drink. So it opens up with the title track, One Step Beyond. So it's a cover originally by Prince Buster. And I actually have this 7-inch single by Prince Buster in my 7-inch collection. And yeah, it's very interesting for them to do a Prince Buster song. You know, they're big fans of his. So they named themselves after him because he has a song called Madness. They named their first album after one of his tracks. And it also opens up their first album. However, they kind of mishmash two songs here. Because while One Step Beyond is a Prince Buster song, the opening lines that Suggs sings, Hey You Don't Watch That, is from another Prince Buster track called The Scorcher. So they've actually combined two Prince Buster tracks here. Very famous opening line. Not made famous by Prince Buster, but made famous by Madness. This song was a huge hit. Not many people know Prince Buster. Not many people know his versions of these songs. Madness made them famous. And I think made his tracks more famous as well, because I'm sure people went and checked them out after hearing Madness's go. It's definitely an instrumental track, even though Suggs shouts out every now and then, One Step Beyond. But this really shows why Lee Thompson is probably the best saxophone player ever. Incredible! Honestly, just a mind-blowing song. The instrumental work on this is fantastic. The saxophone playing is brilliant. The keyboards from Barson are great. Really can't rave about this song enough. It's an 8 out of 10 for One Step Beyond. It is one of the best instrumental tracks ever. And then we get what I'm going to say probably is my second favourite track on the album, My Girl. Now, originally sung by Barson when they were live, but of course Suggs took over lead vocals for this album, really. So Suggs sings it now, and opens with a great beat. You know, it has this drum beat where it's doom, 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 and it just opens so well. And then all of a sudden, the song just beats up, gets a bit lively, and it's great. The lyrics are very relatable. Everyone's been in one of these kind of relationships, I feel. You know, my girl's mad at me. Didn't want to see the film tonight. But I like to stay in and watch TV every now and then on my own. So it's kind of about a bloke not understanding women clearly. I mean, that sounds sexist, actually. And I'm not sexist, so I'm going to take that back. But not understanding how to do a relationship, really. Where she wants to go out, have fun. She wants to go out and see it with her boyfriend. And he's kind of like, I want to stay and just watch some TV tonight. So the lyrics are fun, they're very relatable. And yeah, I just love this song, honestly. The lyrics are great, it's just so fun, the chorus is catchy. There's nothing to dislike about this song. So I am going to give it a solid 10 out of 10. Then we get the track Nightboat to Cairo. Was originally a Barson instrumental track again. But Suggs went ahead and added some lyrics over the top. Some very fun lyrics, and I really love them. The music video to this is great as well. Make sure you check out the music video to this song. And yeah, it's a very fun song. They normally closed all their concerts with it back in the, late 70s and 80s. The song starts with the horn of the boat to Cairo, which is very cool. It takes about a minute for the vocals to actually kick in, but it don't matter because it works well as an instrumental as well. So I'm going to give this song an 8 out of 10. It's a very fun song. Then we get a track called Believe Me, which starts with a piano just going do, 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 do. And you kind of need it at this point, because all the others have been very sax heavy. They've been very punk, up and lively, jig about. This one brings the album down a bit, and you really need it. It's a bit more of a uplifting song, I'd say. Got good lyrics, kind of just a lovey-dovey song. But I like how Suggs says, there's this bit in the middle which I just love. He stops singing and he goes, sax, and then the saxophone will start playing. It's like he has to remind the saxophone player when to start. So I love that. It is a good song, but it's not as good as the first 3 tracks. The first 3 were all big singles. They're on all of Madness's greatest hits. So it's not as good as them. But I'm going to give it a 7 still, because it is a good song. And then we get Land of Hope and Glory, and this is one of the first tracks. I really don't like being negative on Madness, because they really are such a fun, innocent band. But, this song isn't great. It has a cool drum beat that starts here, almost like men are marching off to war or something. Very cool. But isn't any singing on this one either, so it's an instrumental track, really. But it's like they talk throughout the whole song, almost. I mean, I wouldn't say it's instrumental, because there are lyrics to it and stuff, but it's like they don't sing it, they just talk it. Not a big fan when artists do that too much. So yeah, it's an okay song. I don't really dislike it, but I don't like it. So it's a middle of the road track. It's 5 out of 10. Then we get a track called The Prince, which is a tribute to... No, not Prince. It's a tribute to Prince Buster again. And I love this song. Again. Love the intro. Yeah. Buster, he's off the heat with a rock steady beat. So it's just fantastic. The lyrics are very complimentary to Buster. Love the keyboard work on this one. The sax is great. I love the lyrics. Suggs is brilliant. I got no complaints. It's a 10 out of 10 again. And then the closing track, side 1, is again a bit of a song. It's called Tarzan's Nuts. Very interesting. A bit of a dark sounding punk track, which I really like. And you can tell that the band just had fun with this one. Which is one of the reasons why I don't mind this song. You can tell they're having fun. It's a decent instrumental. The instruments playing well off each other. The piano work is brilliant. So I'm going to give it a 6. It's not a complete waste of time track, but it is still one of the weaker songs on the album. Okay, so before we go on to side 2, have another quick sip. Oh, much better. So the next track up, opening up side 2, is In the Middle of the Night, which is not the best opening track for side 2. I would have swapped this one and the next track round myself. But, bit of a slower song. Some very funny lyrics to it. But the problem is with the song, it starts really well, and for the first minute you're enjoying it, you're really getting into it, it's a good song. But then, by the end of it, the song's done nothing, and you're kind of glad when it's over. So that's never a good sign. So, this song's just a niff one again. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. But then we get Bed and Breakfast Man, which is just... Again, this is my favourite track on the album, so you can already guess it's going to be a 10 out of 10. It's a very relatable song. I feel like everyone's known a guy, like the guy who they're singing about in Bed and Breakfast Man. Very fun song, has a great chorus to it, catchy and memorable. It is just a brilliant song, and I absolutely love it. Bed and Breakfast Man gets 10 out of 10 easily. Then we get Razorblade Alley. I don't really care for this one too much. It's a bit more of a empty song, bit lifeless. The song just doesn't do much. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10. Again, I don't dislike it, but, you know, it's like Land of Hope and Glory. Just, it's there, and I don't really care about it. So I'm going to give it a 5. Then we get Swan Lake. Yes, this is a cover of the very famous instrumental which covers the ballad, or the ballet, Swan Lake. Everyone knows Swan Lake, come on, I mean, you know, you can be manny and go, oh, Swan Lake, but everyone knows Swan Lake. Bloody love it, honestly, it's incredible. And, you know, I'm not one to sit there and listen to instrumental pieces like goes, you know, like Swan Lake, it's not really my thing, you know. Rock and roll, I like the Beatles, Eric Clapton, ELO, stuff like that. This is not really my thing, but Madness have taken it and made it punk, and it sounds bloody awesome. Absolutely adore this song. I'm going to give it a 9. Honestly, it's a bloody great song, great time. And we got Rockin' in AB, which, bit of a fun rock song. It's a bit it reflects a bit on late 70s rock and roll, kind of. It's good. I don't really have much against this song. It's a fun time, and you know, I'd recommend it. It's a good song. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Then we get Mummy's Boy, which is a very interesting song about how people kind of look at someone who is a bit different. And a bit different in the fact that this bloke, you know, he's going to the pub, he's a bit, you know, a bit manly, I guess is the word to use, a bit aggressive. However, at the same time, he's a bit of a mummy's boy. And it's kind of how people view him, so it's very interesting. But the song is very fun, Suggs sings it well, it's a funny song at times, and yeah, it's good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Then we get the hidden track. It's not listed on the back. It's a cover of another Prince Buster song, and it is Madness, which is, of course, what the band is named after. And it's a hidden song, which is just a lot of fun. I know this song isn't perfect, and it really shouldn't get the score it's going to get, but I grew up with it. I play it all the time with my dad and sister, because they love Madness as well. I just love it. It's honestly so much fun. It's just wacky, stupid, but I got sentimental feelings towards it, and I'm a bit biased, but I'm going to give it a 10. Then the last track is Chipmunks Are Go, which is just, I can't even dislike this song either, because it's so pointless. But I'm just going to give it a 5. It's just the band shouting down the mic, really. In kind of a funny way. So it is still interesting to listen to. It's not bad. It's just an interesting, weird, wacky listen. It only lasts for about 40 seconds or so. But yeah, anyway, Chipmunks I'll Go. 5 out of 10. But anyway, let's take a look at the album now. So here's the very famous photo there of 6 of the members of the band. And then on the back, we've got the missing member doing some dancing. And there is the track listing. And as you'll see, there is no madness between Mummy's Boy and Chipmunks I'll Go. Now, this is my dad's old copy. My dad bought this when this album came out. My dad's a big Madness fan like me. As I say, this is the first band I ever got into. This is the first album I ever really played a lot. I really like the inner sleeve. A lot of people who the band knew there. There's the back. And then is the record label. And you can see my dad's initials written on there as well. So he used to take this to parties a lot, I believe. Back in the day when you used to take your records to parties. But you'd have to put your name on it. Because if you didn't have your name on, it'd either get misplaced or someone would nick them. So it's kind of funny that I've got my dad's old initials on here, and I can imagine everyone was taking this album to parties back in the 79 and probably throughout all of the 80s as well. A very party-driven album, but my God, I love the cover. It's a classic cover, classic photo. I like the hidden member on the back and the hidden song. I like the inner sleeve. I'm going to give the artwork for this album a 9 out of 10. But anyway, that is it for this album review, guys. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add up all 16 scores and divide it by 16. And this album out of 10 is going to get a 7.7. So anyway, I've got the slip here. So now let's head over to the album ranking board, put it on there and see where it ranks. So then here we are back over to the album ranking board, guys. Here's the slip which I just showed. So anyway, we're going to put it on the album ranking board. Put it over to the side here. Just trying to do this one hand. Not the easiest thing in the world. But anyway, there it is. You can see it there on a 7.7. Rocking the 7s at the minute. The highest one there. Look at all those albums it's beaten out. Yeah, I'd say Madness definitely underrated, you know. I mean, they've beat out some classic albums here. It's all my opinion, guys, as well. So I know some of you are going to be like, oh, was One Step Beyond better than A Night at the Opera? Or No Jacket Required? Well, in my opinion, it is, so I'm sorry. But anyway, it has beaten out more albums than albums that have beaten it there, as you can see. So anyway, Madness One Step Beyond gets my approval of a great album. So anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.